Let me ask you guys a quick question. How long did it take you to reach the max rank in Battlefield 5? Was it a few weeks? Was it a month or two? Maybe even a few months it took you? Well, whenever you did reach it, it's pretty clear that plenty of other Battlefield 5 players reached it with you. If you hit the scoreboard button during any round that you happen to be playing, count how many people are currently career rank 50 in that leaderboard. Yeah, there's a fair few of you sitting at that rank at the moment. And for the longest time, almost since the month the game launched, players of Battlefield 5 have been asking DICE to increase this max rank and enable more ranks to be unlocked. Well, it finally seems that DICE is about to bring us a max rank increase for Battlefield 5. Replying to a comment on Reddit, community manager Adam Freeman confirmed that the DICE team is currently working on a max rank increase for Battlefield 5, and that he was due to communicate what that was going to look like at the end of this week, but final decisions on when that increase could be implemented were still being worked on, and that delayed his announcement. He did go on to say, however, that this is something the community will be briefed on before EA Play starts, which is only a few weeks away now. Here's a full message that he left in response to one of the questions. We do have something that we want to talk about to everyone concerning ranks, and the current cap of 50. Everything is scoped out and there's a pretty robust design in place. Now it's all about understanding what development resource can be committed to bringing it over the line. Once they finalise their prioritisation processes and can tell me when to expect it in the game, that's the point where we can lift the curtain and open the conversation with you all. Now, obviously, Adam didn't go into any further detail about the increase, and it's disappointing that he wasn't able to release the information on Friday as he would have hoped to, but the reply at least signalled to me that DICE isn't just working on some small addition to the game, but that they might be developing something a little bit more in-depth here. If they were planning to simply increase the career rank up to, say, 100 or something, then based on previous titles in the franchise and how DICE has handled that scenario, it's safe to assume that that wouldn't require a huge amount of work from the development team to implement it. Of course, it still takes some work, but it's not a massive undertaking. In Battlefield 1, with every subsequent DLC release after the game launched, the max rank was increased by 10 tiers, and players could then work through those, playing with the new content that had been released at the same time. Games previous to Battlefield 1, like Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3, they had much longer career rank grinds implemented from earlier on in the game's life. And still to this day, you can find players logging into Battlefield 3 who have indeed played the game for a long time, but they still aren't sitting at max rank yet. And that's because the XP requirements for those higher up tiers were that much greater than the lower tiers. In Battlefield 5, however, the quote-unquote grind was hardly a grind at all. It wasn't challenging for even novice players. Now, somebody has actually worked out what the XP requirements were for achieving max rank in previous Battlefield games when they launched, and Battlefield 5 came out as the easiest to obtain by a country mile. Battlefield 3, that asked players to earn 1.6 million XP to reach rank 45, and then a further 23 million XP to reach Colonel 100. Battlefield 4, that asked players to earn 8.4 million XP to hit the max rank, and Battlefield 1 asked you to earn 20 million XP. But both of those games incorporated XP boosters and limited time double XP events, so things did go along a little bit faster. And then Battlefield 5 comes in right at the bottom, asking players to earn just 1.4 million XP to hit the max rank of 50. And that's 50 less levels than Battlefield 3, 4 and 1 had right out of the gate. That makes Battlefield 5's max rank achievement far less appealing to players who want to show others that they are dedicated to the game. And I believe that's the entire point for reaching max rank. In Battlefield 5, you barely had anything to push you along to reach that max rank. It's not like it was really difficult at all. I think just 4 days after the launch of the game, I managed to cap out the career rank, and I wasn't alone in doing that. Hundreds of other players had done the same thing in the same time frame, and some people had done it even faster, which is ridiculous. Like I say, the entire point of having a max rank in a game, to me, is to show dedication, and if a large majority of the player base is sitting at the max rank, then the meaning of that max rank is completely lost, because it's too easy to obtain. So, in my mind, I think DICE is working on something slightly more complex than a simple max rank increase for Battlefield 5. Now, there are rumours circulating at the moment that they're working on a prestige system for the game, and I've seen this theory mentioned several times on Twitter in conversations that I've been tagged in, and it does seem to be quite a popular suggestion as well. Once a player reaches career rank 50, they obtain a prestige level, and then after the next 50 career ranks that DICE would presumably have to add to the game, they would obtain another prestige level 2, and so on and so forth. It would be a good way to display the dedication certain players had to the game, and it goes a step beyond what DICE's previous ranking systems have used, by using a unique identifier, the prestige system. With EA Play being only a few weeks away now, it really doesn't leave much time for DICE and EA to come out and detail what they've been working on for players of Battlefield 5. And it wouldn't surprise me if we got an announcement in the next week or so, considering Freeman was waiting for a final decision to be made on the date of its deployment this week, and he wanted to announce that on Friday, but he wasn't able to. He also said he wants to communicate that day as soon as possible, as soon as he gets the green light from the development team, so that players actually know when these ranks are going to appear in Battlefield 5. The next chapter of the Tides of War for this game is set to start in June, and if the new ranks coincided with that, I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's a perfect time to activate a bunch of new progression elements for the game, and it will launch alongside a new theme for the next few months of Battlefield 5. Now, in other news, the 4th patch for the Trial by Fire chapter will be launching next week, which will include those health and ammo tweaks that we discussed in a previous video, and the manual leaning, that's going to be included in that patch as well. So next week, we're going to get a bunch of changes into Battlefield 5 that we're going to have to get used to, and a set of patch notes that we can read through as well, and that's probably going to highlight a bunch of other changes. There will be more health and ammo tweaks coming within those patch notes that we don't know about yet, and if you missed my video where I spoke about the ammo and health tweaks that we do know about, I highly suggest you go and watch that video, because it is rather helpful to know what's coming next week. But we're likely going to see a bunch of balancing changes for weapons and vehicles as well, which I will cover in a separate video once those patch notes drop early next week. In general though, I am now starting to see the future that DICE is really planning for Battlefield 5. We as a community have had a really tough time since the game launched. Bugs have been rife, really harming the experience, and there's been a severe lack of the kind of content that we've become used to expecting from Battlefield games, and that's mainly maps post-launch. That's left a lot of players rather frustrated with the current situation the game's in. But I also know that the development team at DICE has had a really tough time as well, because they are so far behind where they wanted to be with this game, and they're having to manage the community's expectations at every single turn. I mean, if an update doesn't include a new map, then the community isn't happy and they start going off on one. If an unexpected bug turns up in a patch, the community isn't happy either. That's got to be really tough on the team making and supporting this game, but it is a byproduct of the game being rushed out of the door after a much shorter development cycle than was needed, even after that delay to a November launch. That's something EA and DICE have got to shoulder, and I do hope a situation like this doesn't happen again in the future for Battlefield games, because this mess they've had to deal with for the last 8 months can't have been easy or fun to work through. However, that future I was talking about, we're now on the cusp of a brand new multiplayer map launching for Battlefield 5, and if my sources are correct, then we're going to be seeing at least 5 full multiplayer maps coming to the game in the next 6 months, with 3 of those having already been announced. We've got Mercury, Marita, and the working title, Urban Combat. The other two are likely coming with the Pacific Theatre in September and October. We now also know about a new ranking system on the way for the game, plenty of new weapons, vehicles and gadgets. They're going to be coming into the game via Tides of War. Rental servers, they'll be launching after the summer, called private games, and those are for the community to create their own experiences within the game. And there's a fully fledged 5v5 competitive structure coming to the game as well at some point, which could really help boost Battlefield 5's reputation, if it's been done correctly. If it's been done badly, then, well, it's probably not going to help at all. But, you know, we can always hold out some hope that this time competitive has been done correctly. There is a lot on the horizon for this game, and yes, I can hear you groaning in the comments section. I'm just as tired and bored of hearing things are coming soon for Battlefield 5. I see the frustration of all of you guys in comment sections and on social media just banging your head against the wall because of this game. I totally get your frustration and I share it. This has not been a particularly easy journey for me either as a dedicated player of Battlefield games, but we are nearly done now. And the new Mercury map is literally just the start of all of this content. There's a lot coming to this game, and hopefully it's what the community wants to see. But thanks very much for watching this video today, and until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.